In 1932, a broke little mountain town invented money that punished you for saving it. It worked so well that the government made it illegal. Think about that. Money you couldn't hoard. Money that lost value every single month. Leave a bill in your drawer, and by next month, it's quietly worth less. Sounds completely insane, right? Except it dragged an entire town out of the Great Depression in about a year. So here's the mystery I need you to hold on to, all the way to the end. Why would a government destroy money that ended unemployment and rebuilt a whole town? The answer changes how you see the cash sitting in your pocket right now. To get it, we have to rewind almost 100 years. Let's go. First, forget what you think money is for. We treat it like a trophy, something to keep, to pile up, to guard. But money has a second hidden job nobody talks about. It has to move. Every time you spend a coin, it becomes someone's wages. They spend it, and it becomes someone's groceries, someone's rent. One coin can feed a whole chain of people, but only while it keeps moving. Economists even measure how fast money changes hands. They call it the velocity of money. When velocity is high, a town buzzes with work. When it's low, everything slowly grinds to a halt. And that is the trap of a depression. People get scared, so they stop spending and cling to every coin. It feels smart for one person. But when everyone hoards at once, the money simply freezes. Shops sit empty. Workers get laid off, and those laid-off workers spend even less than before. It becomes a death spiral. Less spending, more firing, less spending again. That was the world in 1932. And it was slowly strangling a tiny town in the Austrian Alps called Wörgl. 4,000 people, and nearly a third of the workers had no job at all. The town was flat broke. The railway had laid people off, taxes went unpaid, and hope was running out. But Wörgl had one unusual man in charge. Its mayor was a former railway worker named Michael Unterguggenberger. And for years, he'd been quietly obsessed with a heretical idea from a little-known economist named Silvio Gesell. Gesell's argument was simple and a little shocking. Money should rot, like fruit. If it slowly decayed, nobody would dare hoard it. They'd rush to spend it while it still held its value. So on the last day of July 1932, the mayor stopped theorizing and tried it for real. The town printed its own money. Official-looking notes it called certified compensation bills. To make people trust them, he backed the notes with 40,000 real Austrian shillings locked away in the local bank. On paper, they were as good as the real thing. But these notes came with a catch built right into them. Every single month, each note lost 1% of its value. To keep it worth full price, you had to buy a small stamp and stick it on the back. Read that again. Holding onto your money now cost you money. So nobody held on. The instant people got paid, they spent it, racing to pass it along before that next stamp came due. And the money flew. By some accounts, those little notes changed hands up to 14 times faster than the ordinary national shilling sitting in people's mattresses. The shopkeeper paid the baker. The baker paid the farmer. The farmer paid his taxes, and the town spent it again. Money that used to crawl was now sprinting through Wörgl in days, and the town roared back to life. They repaved the streets and rebuilt the water system. They put up new houses, a reservoir, a bridge, and famously, a brand new ski jump. Here's the part that stuns economists to this day. While unemployment kept climbing across the rest of Austria, in Wörgl it actually fell. One town was healing while a whole country sank. People started calling it the Miracle of Wörgl. Word spread so far that the French Prime Minister himself travelled out to see the little town's magic money with his own eyes. And around 200 other towns lined up, begging to copy the idea. It was spreading like wildfire, which is exactly when it all came crashing down. Because a town printing its own money is a beautiful thing, unless you happen to be the national bank. If hundreds of towns did this, the central bank would lose control of the entire currency. And control of the currency is the one thing a central bank will never give up. So in September 1933, Austria's National Bank moved in and pulled the plug. They dragged Wörgl to court, and they won. The little stamped notes were declared illegal. Overnight, the money that had saved the town became worthless paper. And almost as fast as it had vanished, the unemployment came roaring back. The miracle was over. Switched off by law, not because it failed, but because it worked too well. So a miracle or a fluke? Economists still argue. And no, it probably couldn't save an entire country. But that was never the real lesson, because Wörgl exposed the secret that's still true right now, today, in your wallet. Money isn't about how much you have, it's about how fast it moves. A coin spent 10 times does 10 times the work of one asleep in a drawer. Wörgl never printed more wealth. It just refused to let its money sit still. And that alone was enough. Which leaves one uncomfortable question. They didn't kill this idea because it failed. They killed it because it worked. So what does that tell you about the money in your pocket right now? Sit with that one. Then drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this just rewired your brain, subscribe. The next What If is already waiting.